Good afternoon, everybody. I'm a few minutes early, so we'll wait and see if anybody jumps on. But look what I got today. I got the baby kit, and I don't have any of it open yet. I'm anxious to smell the stuff, but this is going to be available at the product showcase that we're having at my house. So if you want to purchase some trials of this, you can, because these products can be used by people other than babies, and they'll be beneficial. So keep that in mind if you've been wanting to try it. So we're going to talk about rosemary oil today, and I have my rosemary right here, and I'm going to just put a little bit right there under my nose so I can smell it while I'm talking. Rosemary retails for $18.67 and it wholesales for $14. It's the 15 milliliter size bottle. So it's a very affordable oil. And when you hear all that it can be used for, if you don't have it in your collection, you're going to want to add it. So doTERRA rosemary is steam distilled. Rosemary is a member of the mint family, and it is the species that they use is Rosmarinus officinalis. It is very complex chemically. It has oxides, monoterpenes, ketones, alcohols, sesquiterpenes, and esters in it. That makes it very chemically complex. It also makes it important that you get your rosemary oil from a trustworthy source, because a little bit of research that I did, rosemary oil can vary greatly in its chemical makeup. And you can get rosemary oil that is higher in camphor content than what doTERRA's is, and that's not necessarily a good thing. So I would stick with getting your rosemary from doTERRA. So everybody knows about rosemary as far as cooking goes, and honestly, that's the first thing that I think of when I smell it, because it smells just like the herb. But since it is steam distilled from the herb, it's going to be 50 to 70 times more powerful. So it would take a whole lot of rosemary spice to equal what one drop of essential oil is going to do for you. And it makes me think of Thanksgiving because of rosemary turkey. So rosemary can be used all three ways: aromatically, topically, and internally. However, there are some safety things that you need to know about with rosemary. First of all, if you are pregnant, it is an oil to avoid. Secondly, if you have high blood pressure, it is an oil to avoid because it helps raise your blood pressure. So if you have low blood pressure, rosemary might be beneficial for you. But if you are dealing with high blood pressure, you want to avoid rosemary. And it is not for people who have epilepsy or seizures, because there has been found to be a connection between smelling the camphor content and having a seizure. So you want to avoid it if you have that condition. But rosemary is good for a lot of things. Let me tell you about it. It is an analgesic, it's antibacterial, anti-cancer, anti-catarrhal, antifungal, anti-infectious, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and an expectorant. It has been shown to be beneficial for alcohol addiction, arteriosclerosis, bronchitis, chills, colitis, cystitis, nervous exhaustion, stimulating the immune system, palpitations, preventing respiratory infections, sour stomach, and stress-related illness. And specifically, doTERRA's chemotype, which is CT18-cineol, has been shown to be especially beneficial for pulmonary congestion, slow elimination, fighting candida, chronic fatigue, and infections, especially staph and strep infections. So here are some ways that you would use it. Hi, Denise. Hi, Angie. Thank you for joining me. I just saw that pop up. So for respiratory infections and conditions, you can apply it topically to your chest or diffuse it. For prostate issues and nighttime urination, you're going to want to apply it to the bottoms of the feet, and it can also be taken internally in a capsule. For cancer, it can be taken in a capsule or applied to the bottoms of the feet. Rosemary has been shown to be beneficial, especially for breast cancer. So it's good for hair loss and dandruff, and honestly, that's what we have used it for the most at our house besides cooking, as it's I mix up a spray for John to put on his head to combat his dandruff, and it seems to help. It's really good for memory and focus. I was reading about some studies in the other book where they were diffusing rosemary, and the people that were taking tests. Hey, Dan, thank you for joining me. People that were taking tests actually performed better on their tests with rosemary was diffusing. So that's pretty impressive. So it's good for memory and focus. You're going to apply it topically under the nose or across the forehead and in a diffuser. For Bell's palsy and multiple sclerosis, you're going to apply it to the bottoms of your feet and take it internally in a capsule. For fatigue, that would be adrenal fatigue, chronic fatigue, or mental fatigue. You can apply it just under your nose or diffuse it. It also will give you a little bit of a pick-me-up if you combine it with peppermint. It's good for jaundice, for liver and kidney issues. You're going to apply it to the bottoms of your feet or take it in a capsule. It's good for nervousness, depression, addiction, and dopamine issues. You're going to apply it right here under the bottom of your nose where you can smell it, or run it in your diffuser. It's good for muscle and bone pain. I found that to be interesting. Have you ever whacked yourself so hard you got a bruise and it bruised your bone? And it's hard to treat that pain because it's so deep down in there. Rosemary can help with that. So you're going to apply it topically to the area of concern for that. It's good for cellulite, and this really surprised me. For cellulite, you would think apply topically to the area of concern, but this says to take it internally in a capsule. And it's good for jet lag. So those of you that travel a lot, you're going to want to get a little bottle of rosemary you can take with you to help combat jet lag. And you're going to apply it under your nose, the back of your neck, and the occipital region, or diffuse it. It's good for fainting. You can apply it just right there under your nose, or inhale a drop from cupped hands. And it's good for emotionally helping you to go from feeling confused to feeling open-minded and able to focus. There are some days I really need that ability to focus. So hope this gives you some good information about how to use rosemary essential oil. If you have any questions about anything, feel free to contact me, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.